Is everybody as concerned about the amount of panic that's happening as we are?
Right.
Holy cow. Stay tuned. We're going to give you guys some tips and tricks on how to get through this isolation period, not only with your kids, but also within your marriage.
Right.
Usually our YouTube channel is going to be a question and answer type scenario where we get questions from you, our listeners, from all the different places that we're at, social media wise, YouTube, email, all of it. And we answer your questions here. We haven't had time to get questions and answers, but I am seeing, just like I'm sure you are, all over social media, the panic that is happening right now.
Right.
And we wanted to hurry up and create a video for you guys to answer some of those questions. Hamilton looks like he's going to join us today, which is fine. We'll get through this. Hamilton always adds a special flavor to our videos. So first of all, I want to talk about the importance of staying calm in your marriage.
Right.
When Dwayne and I first got married, it was crazy. It was very chaotic.
Yeah, it was.
And we needed a purpose in our marriage, right? We needed something, a reason to stay calm.
Right.
To stay not chaotic, if that makes sense. And the reason for us was always we wanted to be the example to our kids that they deserved. So we wanted to be the example of marriage. Both of us have been divorced. As I'm sure if you're watching this, you guys have been too from a blended family standpoint. And we knew that we were the only chance that our kids had at seeing what a successful marriage looks like. I don't like the way that sounded. It's not the only chance. Some of our kids' other parents are married and they're having successful marriages, so I didn't like the way that sounded. But we had to be the example of what marriage was supposed to be versus what they'd seen to that point, which was what it's not. So I want to encourage you guys to incorporate that same belief within your home. Your kids need to see calm, they need to see steady, they need to see routine. There's so many things that they need to see, and the way that they're going to see that is the way that you and your spouse interact. Are you guys constantly watching the news and living this fear-focused life? That anxiety is going to transfer onto your children. Are you watching Facebook and every time somebody coughs, are you spraying them with Lysol? That anxiety is going to translate to your children. Are you guys hoarding obscene amounts of toilet paper? Don't get me wrong, be prepared. But all of that anxiety is setting your kids up to what kind of lifestyle they're going to live. And I just encourage you to be the example.
Just kind of to reiterate that, we're at a point now where most of us that are alive have never gone through any type of a health scare like this where, it's concerning. You have to be vigilant and stuff, and we don't want to be careless in how we do it. But your children are also watching you right now, and how you react to a stressful situation now is how they're going to react to a stressful situation in the future. And it may not be, a health pandemic. Like, it might be, it could be something as...
It could be a financial crisis. It could be so many things. And they're going to face it.
Right.
I'm sorry that your little children are eventually going to grow up and face a crisis of their own.
Right.
You need to be that example on how to deal and handle a crisis.
Yeah,
You're very right. We didn't have that example, except that, we survived, was it the Cold War with Reagan, and we survived both of the Iraq wars. And we also survived September 11th. So those are all things that we got to see our parents and the generations before us, how they handle things like that. And because of the influence of social media, so many more people are seeing how we respond. So just be careful with how you respond. I have been on Facebook today, and it breaks my heart how many co-parenting issues are coming up from this whole pandemic. And I'm going to just touch really briefly on it. I have so many other things that I want to say, but our mission has always been about the marriage. So I want to talk briefly about this because I know that this can cause so much stress in your home. The first thing that I want to say is try to keep a normal for those kids. If custody exchanges are on Sundays, try to keep the custody exchange on Sunday. I'm assuming everybody's healthy. The way this is looking, it has an incubation period of 14 days. So if you haven't seen your kid for 14 days, chances are they're not contagious. But if you saw them 3 days ago, you have whatever they have. You've already been exposed to whatever it is that they've brought into your home, and vice versa. So has the other home. So just use logic here. Try to keep your kids in the best routine that you possibly can. Do you normally have them Thursday through Sunday? Get them Thursday through Sunday. Does mom usually have them Monday through Wednesday? Just try to work through and figure it out.
Right.
So that way your kids can have a very stable, very normal environment.
Right.
If some parents aren't working because of this crisis and other parents are, work through that, communicate with each other, but establish boundaries with your spouse, so that way your spouse knows as well and is included in the conversations and when the kids are coming and when they're going and the changes there. When change happens, that's the biggest opportunity for friction, and we want to avoid friction right now. They've already experiencing change. Most of, I think, the nation is out of school. They're already experiencing change not going to school. They're already experiencing change not having their support system and structure in place that they have with their friend groups, with so many other things. So just try to maintain the normal there. However, if they're old enough, I would say from preteen through high school, let those kids decide where they're going to spend quarantine.
Right.
Don't fight over this. There's bigger battles to choose here. If one parent is more fun than the other, and that's naturally where they're going to wander to, let them be with the more fun parent.
Right.
If one more parent has electronics in the house and the other parent chooses not to, that was us. Let them be with the parent with electronics, because they're bored, you guys, and there's a reason why they want to be there. We have FaceTime, we have text messages, we have phone calls. There's so many ways that you can stay in touch with your kids through this, even if they choose to go to the other house.
Right.
Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I think the worst thing that you can do is to be so rigid and not I mean, this is a time when flexibility probably would be wise.
Yeah, pick your battles.
Yeah, pick your battles. This just isn't one of those situations there's already enough stress level just with the virus going around, and so if this is one area where you can help reduce a little bit of that stress by and I agree. I think it's a situation where you just have to use a little bit of grace.
Yeah, extend grace for sure. That's a great word to everybody. If honestly the people that you're trying to co-parent with, your ex-spouses or exes in whatever fashion, are showing their true colors right now, they're under stress too. Show grace. Everybody is really trying to learn how to handle this, and not a lot of people have that kind of level-headedness that you need to be able to display. So just extend grace. So some things to do while isolating with your kids, just some really fun things. One of the things that everybody complains about on social media, now is your opportunity to fix. Give these kids some life skills.
Right.
You can learn so much in 2 weeks, you guys. If you're isolated for 2 weeks, we are here in Nevada so far, we're isolated for kids. Schools are closed for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea how quickly you can learn things in 3 weeks?
Right.
You can learn to follow a recipe and bake a cake. You can learn to follow a recipe and make dinner.
Right.
You can learn how to clean a bathroom, mop floors, change the oil in a car. You can learn how to set a budget, there's so many things that you can learn in 3 weeks. Learn some new skills with your kids. Learn how to make slime. I'm kidding, that became such a social media nightmare. That was just a joke. Learn how, Google. We have so much at our fingertips.
Right.
But these kids don't have to stop learning, and honestly, neither do we.
Right.
Right? I mean, they might not have the structured school environment that they're used to. There's so many things that they can learn. Go out and explore your backyard. You guys, over the summer, I had a friend come over, and she was delivering something to me, just totally blessing me, and while we were talking, she told me what weeds in my front yard were edible. And I love that. Figure that out. Go explore your backyard. Don't eat the weeds. I'm not saying that, but go explore. There's so many things that you can do with your kids right now.
Right.
Teach them how to make mud pies. We have really dreary weather outside. Teach them how to ride a bike. Do the things that you wouldn't be able to do if you guys were caught in your busy schedule. Go back to the basics. Go back to what can we do to entertain these kids. Think back to when you were a kid. Pull the hula hoops out of the closet, and have a hula hoop competition in the driveway. Jump rope. Do something just to get these kids' energy levels down so that way their anxiety levels aren't high.
Yeah, I agree.
So another thing is I saw on Facebook, there's all kinds of free things. Scholastic is putting out free lessons every day. A lot of the homeschool moms are mentioning some things. If you guys have any ideas, please post them in the comments.
Right.
That way we can start a thread that'll help other moms just to be able to get through this crisis. But one really cool thing that both Dwayne and I saw is that museums and aquariums are offering virtual tours.
Right.
That's so exciting.
Right.
Your kids can sit. Remember when that giraffe was pregnant and we watched her for months?
I didn't watch it.
Your kids can sit and watch these animals
Right.
and the aquariums and stuff like that. And I'm sure that the tour guides are giving all kinds of information. So just get really creative with your kids, you guys. The worst thing you can do is then give them electronics and leave them up to their own devices, because what's going to happen is the fear mentality is going to seep into them as well. Whether I know that we try our hardest to control it, but news flashes pop up, email alerts pop up, Facebook, all of the social media things, TikTok, everybody is talking about this, and you don't want that the only thing poured into your kids' minds. So get creative and figure out more things to do. Things to do as a couple. I actually had several people ask, what can we do to enhance our marriage on social media? And that was so fascinating to me that you guys are already thinking about that. Again, this is a time that you guys can really pour into each other. What are your fears? What are your dreams? Talk to each other. Look each other eyeball to eyeball for an extended period of time, especially if you're quarantined together or in isolation together. And have those talks that you used to have when you were dating. Like, remember that when you couldn't hang up? No, you hang up. No, you hang up. Remember that? Have those kind of talks. You guys have time now. There are some awesome date night ideas. I recently saw on YouTube a dance instructional video where they take you through like 6 weeks of dance courses. You guys can do that in a week.
Online?
Yeah. So you can take these dance courses in your living room, put the kids to bed, and you guys can get silly. Nobody's watching. Like, what do you have to lose? Just start dancing with each other. How fun would that be? You can take dance lessons in your own living room once the kids are in bed.
And even if you never use them outside, just the fact that you've gone through and you've learned something
with each other.
and connected with each other.
Another great idea that I've seen is they're getting dressed up. Couples are getting dressed to the nines. Hair, makeup, nails. Men in their suits, if they have them in their closets, they're getting dressed to the nines and pretending like they're going to a movie premiere when they rent a movie. That's not my thing, because I don't want to sit on a couch like this trying to watch a movie. But how fun would that be? Just get dressed up and have dinner together. Like, what do you have to lose? Just get dressed up for each other and sit down and have a meal, even if it's SpaghettiOs out of a can or, who knows, whatever it would be. Another fun date night idea is a carpet picnic. Don't leave at the table, put the kids to bed, feed them whatever you're going to feed them, put them to bed, and sit down on the carpet, eat together, sitting down, away from all the distractions, away from whatever. It's amazing how much your conversation changes when you change your atmosphere. You're still in your house because you're isolated here. Go for a walk. That's another one that's big. Don't touch anything. Like, don't go to the park and start licking slides.
But you can go for a walk around the block. The virus that's out there is not airborne, so you can walk. Hold hands. Walk around the block. Go on a hike. And here, and where we're at in northern Nevada, there's lots of places to go for hikes.
Not now. It's pretty
definitely not
and
now.
really gross outside. If you guys can do things that are active, like the dance classes or the walks or whatever, that's going to curb your anxiety too. Naturally, you're going to be getting rid of those endorphins and that adrenaline in a natural way, as opposed to holding on to it and making your anxiety even worse. So find ways to get active with each other. If you're sore for the next 2 weeks because you found this new workout program on YouTube, like, so be it. You're sore for the next 2 weeks. But who cares? So those are just some really good, fun things to do as a couple. Now, as a family, our belief system is we are Christians. So as a family, I would encourage you, now is the time to establish some prayer habits. Show your children that when things get tough, we're going to God. Show your children when things get tough, instead of panicking, we're going to go to prayer. Show your children how you guys can pray together and how you can cast your cares upon Him and how He does listen. That is a great way to get into the habit of praying with your family. Start a thankful journal as a family. I think that that's such a powerful thing when things go wrong, and I've done this with Dwayne, and admittedly, guiltily, I admit, I only do it when things go wrong. And when we get tragic news, I'm like, okay, we need to refocus. I still believe this.
Right.
I still am thankful for this. We
Right.
still have this thing going. We still have so much to be thankful for. And now is the time to get into that habit. List 10 things every morning before you start your day. What are you thankful for today? And then do the same thing before you go to bed, because it shifts the focus from worry to thankfulness.
Right. It shifts the focus really to God, which is where our focus should be right now. And I just think that's important.
It's such an important focus shift too, because it's easy to look at what's wrong, and it's easy to look at everything that's being bombarded in us through social media and everything else. What we need to look at is what's right.
Right.
The truth is, if you're doing this as a family, you still have each other. You still have the relationships, the dynamics there. You have so much. You still have a roof over your head. You still have food on your table. You still have so much. You have electronic devices that can either give you virtual tours of I almost said jails. Maybe that's what you're into.
It could be historical, maybe Alcatraz has
That's true. You still have electronic devices that can give you tours of museums and aquariums, and can give you advice like we're trying to give you today.
Right.
So I guess where all of this goes is I want to encourage you, after they're comparing the way that America feels right now to the way that it felt after September 11th. And in my opinion, it's almost a little bit worse, because we didn't have Facebook yet. We didn't have social media yet after September 11th, 2001. It was just now starting to come. Google was just now starting to really explode into what it's become today. So we didn't have all of this at our fingertips, constantly feeding us. And what I remember about September 11th is the way that it felt afterwards. Sure, I remember where I was when the towers were attacked. Sure, I remember where I was when I saw all of the devastation come across the TV screen at the time.
Right.
Sure, I can recall all of that, but I remember how it felt afterwards. When everybody had American flags hanging on their doors, when the nation just came together in a way that I, in my lifetime, have never witnessed.
Right.
And that's what I'm looking forward to. I believe that at the end of this, we're all going to come together. We're going to redistribute toilet paper to where it belongs. We're all going to come together stronger and better for this. I pray for the people that are affected by this in deeper ways than Dwayne and I. I pray for the people that have lost their lives over this virus, and for the people that have been ill over it. I pray for the people that have been isolated, away from their family, away from their normal. That's got to be so hard. But what I'm looking forward to is the hope of the future. And I think it's so important to be thankful for what we have. Extend grace to those that deserve it. But look at the hope. Look at what's coming. Look at the good that's going to come out of this.
Right.
So I'm going to leave you guys with that. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you like this and you want to see more question and answers from Dwayne and I, please hit the like button below. Hit the subscribe button. If you want to ring the bell, then you'll get a notification every time that we post a new video. Share this with a friend. Share this with a friend who's struggling with their kids for some ideas and thoughts and just some encouragement with them. Share this with everybody that you love and know, so that way you guys can get this encouragement out as well. Oh, and if you want to leave us a question or answer, on social media, you can reach us at broken2blessed.org. I'll put that in the comments. You can go there and leave us an audio message. You can find us on all sorts of